Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ and you are here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Today I've got a tech tree spotlight for you. We're going up the original US battleship line. We're in the Tier 4 American battleship New York and we're on Big Race in an epicenter match. The the map name, very ironic. This is not especially large map and there is no racing. And an epicenter match really isn't as good of a showcase for a battleship's abilities, in my opinion, as a capture the base match, simply because the objective is in the middle of the map, and if you're a battleship and you're in the middle of the map, then you're probably not making great decisions. Anyway, here's the New York, her paint scheme. I call it Tactical Icicle. I don't know who thought this was a great paint scheme for a battleship, but obviously someone did. Alright, so there's an enemy New York on the other team, so we do have a counterpart. That is a Kotovsky, one of the two ships I've had a 7-kill game in. So if I remember, I will put in a link to my Kotovsky video where I literally went wild in a cruiser for the only time ever. Alright, we're just maneuvering out here. So if you're not familiar with the US battleship line, if you didn't watch my video on the Wyoming, shame on you. The US ships, I think, are good at a lot of things. They're not so great at some other things. They've got pretty powerful guns. The guns are reasonably accurate with a high-ranking William Sims, who is in control of this warship as we speak. They have a good armor scheme, but it is not like a bow tank, drive at the enemy, not take any damage type of armor scheme. It's the all or nothing armor scheme, so I mean it's good, but it's not great. The guns are good, but not great. The accuracy's good, but not great. The AA, as you increase, gets really, really good, but at this level of ship, it was okay. It's got poor speed, but a pretty good rudder shift, but the turning circle's also not great. That's my opinion of US battleships, with the exception of the fast battleships, which we will explore the Iowa at some point during this update. Alright, so there I thought the Kotovsky was going in the other direction, so I totally whiffed on that set of shells, but thankfully we haven't attracted a lot of fire yet. We did, but we didn't. They're busy killing that destroyer over there, or they're doing other stuff. That destroyer is way, way out ahead of the team. And I just do not recommend going that far forward. I do not think that player quite has a handle on how to win an epicenter match. But that's just me. And of course you win an epicenter match, and the destroyer's dead, by going to the epicenter and capturing the base, not charging into the enemy team's lines. Speaking of dead, we just dev struck and removed the Kotovsky from the battlefield. And see, that's what I'm saying, the power of these US guns, they do hit pretty hard. And Kotovsky, admittedly, cruiser, doesn't have a lot of armor there. So if I were you, and you should be doing it anyway, focus on those broadside cruisers, remove them from the game, and then you can get down to some battleship on battleship violence, like we are here with the enemy New York. No problem. Is that a New York? That's not a New York. How embarrassing. That must be an Ishitaka or Ichizushi or Joe Azuzu or something like that. Anyway, he showed me the broadside. He paid the price, 3 citadels, and he is also dead for kill number 2. Alright, that was a Wyoming, pardon me. Alright, so look at that. Higher tier ship, American ship, lower tier American ship. Wyoming probably wasn't even shooting at me that whole time. Didn't do a ton of damage. Could not stand up to us power-wise. Alright, by the way, you see I have the legendary skill Will to Rebuild going on. I do recommend Will to Rebuild at tiers 3, 4, and 5. I recommend switching it to Fight Fire with Fire if you're going to be in a tier 6 or a tier 7 ship, because you are guaranteed to face HE spamming ships, and I don't think it is as, I think the word is deleterious effect. HE at lower levels still hurts, still sets your ship on fire, still burns you up, but it doesn't do it as much as it does at the higher tiers. So that's just one man's opinion. Here I'm doing the destroyer's job. although there is a destroyer in the cap circle with me. But we are capturing out the epicenter, and as you can see, we got all 3 assisted base caps, in addition to our 2 kills. But we are not done, folks. We are not done. You're going to see a fatal mistake by some of my teammates, but I think you're going to also say after this game, boy, the New York, when it's top tier, can really dictate the flow of battle. All right, so there we got some hits on an angling New York going away from us. Didn't have any problem penetrating him. Didn't have any problem doing damage. But I really want this Marblehead to step out here so I can light him up like a Roman candle. And we're just hoping to see that happens. Now you see, it looks like we don't have the outer ring yet. Maybe we do. Oh, we do have it. Never mind. I couldn't see the graphic for a minute. So the Marblehead is a low tier HE spammer, and I am trying to light the Marblehead up. He's doing a good job of angling, but there, as you can see, we still managed to penetrate him going away, and we do unlock the high caliber metal, and we are over 90,000 damage. We fling that last turret shells at him, and I believe those are going to miss.
Problem solved, sir.
Unfortunately, but we're about 10 seconds away from a reload. And we're not in any immediate danger, although he does set me on fire. Here we're kind of predicting where he's going to go here. And we're going to aim out in front of him. At the same time, we're dodging torpedoes from the carrier aircraft. We're shooting down those airplanes. We are citadeling and removing the Marblehead from the game. Kill number 3. All right, so I've got a New York over here on about a quarter health. I have at least double his hit points, even though I'm on fire. And we still have a large number of ships out there. In fact, the red team has a 1-ship lead. And I want to say right here is where some of the bad decision making starts to take place by my teammates. All right, so this New York is going to come out here. He's good. He's trying to shoot me. He's shooting into the island. And I am going to shoot at him free of the island. And we're going to get another hit to Citadel. Take him out. Kill number 4. Go over 100,000 damage. We are now officially on the hunt for a Kraken, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got an aircraft carrier and 3 destroyers. So these other ships, every single one of my teammates should be hunting for destroyers. There are destroyers up on the minimap right now. My teammates are chasing a carrier. And here's why you shouldn't chase a carrier if you are in these ships. Because it's going to get shot and killed by a bigger ship because you spotted it. So you should be taking out the destroyers. You should be trying to separate them, eliminate them. Destroyers affect the battle more than any other ship. Now we know, everyone knows where the enemy aircraft carrier is. All I have to do is spot him in order to kill him. And this destroyer and this cruiser in front of me are caught up with blood in their eye of going after this aircraft carrier, and they shouldn't do that. And they're going to ignore the Sobrazatelny in front of me to go after the aircraft carrier. Now, they are shooting at it, but they stop shooting at it. And who do you need to protect from destroyers? That is your battleships, especially your teammate in a battleship that has 4 kills, over 100,000 damage, a high caliber medal, and clearly could eradicate the carrier with 1 salvo. So here's the Rhine. We will shoot our front turrets at the Rhine while turning towards the last known location of the Sobrazatelny. And we're going to turn and get those rear turrets on target. I talked all day long about eliminating with 1 salvo. That is not going to happen. All right, second salvo from our last 3 turrets on the Rhine. And we don't, again, do a ton of damage there. But at this point, the cruiser and the destroyer shouldn't be focusing on the Rhine anymore. They want to pinch this kill for me as our own aircraft carrier gets killed. But they shouldn't, because now that I've seen him, now that he is visible, it is not going to take a lot for me to knock him out of the game. And I had to turn in there to dodge torpedoes. If that destroyer had cut over my bow and continued to spot the Sobrazatelny, that may not have been an issue. Heck, I may not have even shot at the carrier. I may have shot at the Sobrazatelny, but I don't have the option anymore because he's no longer visible And so I have to do this kind of maneuvering to save myself. Now, are these other guys even damaging the carrier? I don't think they are. They might be trying to damage it, but they're not doing a lot. Meanwhile, I'm going to wait and then put a full salvo out on the Rhine while continuing to dodge torpedoes. And meanwhile, by the way, while all this is happening, the enemy has totally flipped the cap, and the enemy is now getting all the points.
Reporting the target position.
They're now getting all the points. All right. So essentially right now, this cruiser should be in hunting destroyers. This destroyer should be spotting destroyers or trying to prevent the points from being counted in the cap, or just running away because we have a big lead. They're not doing any of that. Final salvo out on the Rhine. Secondaries continuing to fire. And another hit to Citadel. We get the kill. And a Kraken unleashed. And I have no time to celebrate. Here comes the Sabrazza tell me I have no defense. And I am dead. And we're going to cut to the end of the match here. Essentially, my teammates all got themselves killed. And we lost. And they were vainly flailing away trying to kill the last destroyer, which was the Sabrazza. They did kill the other two. But essentially, they won. Because when you take away all the kills and everything, we weren't getting any points and they were. And the time ran out. Alright, so we clipped ahead to the end of the battle. Get a couple of milestones. By the way, that Furitaka, the cruiser on our team, ended up with no damage taken whatsoever. Alright, we've got a Kraken Unleashed medal, high caliber medal, 2 devastating strikes, a whole bunch of daily missions finished, 124,968 total damage, shot down 6 planes, 5 kills, 7 hits to Citadel, 3 assisted base caps, 281,451 silver, and 2997 ship XP and commander XP in the New York. Forget about it. It's a battleship. Alright, that was a really terrible impression of someone from New York, but I stand by it. Alright, here in a minute we're going to go to the team results screen. Alright, and here we are at the top of the board. 1998 base XP, 5 big kills, 4 medals. I just think we could have some better strategic decisions further down the scorecard, although it is true that only 3 players on our team had any kills. Alright, now we're going to go here into the port and take a look at the ship. In terms of the upgrades, for the New York, we went with AA Guns Mod 2, because you don't have access to aiming systems, so I would only use this. And the New York, obviously, is fully upgraded. Taking a look at the consumables, 3 charges of the repair party, 3 charges of the enhanced secondary targeting consumable. We did run the Epic Battle Booster to increase our range and movement speed. Got this type, standard type camo, permanent, and the 2-year strong flag. Alright, in terms of the stats, 50,620 hit points and a 28% torpedo damage reduction. You get those 5 twin 356mm guns, 17.2 kilometer firing range, 33.3 second reload, 38.8 second turn time. HE shells do 5,000 damage with a 30% fire chance. AP shells do 11,330 damage. You only have 6 secondaries. The range is only 4 kilometers. They reload in 7 seconds. The HE shells do 1,800 damage with a 4% fire chance. AA defense, again, boosted by the AA mod, I guess you would call it, or equipment, not too great, but enough. Maneuverability, poor, speed, 19.5 knots, turning circle 600 meters, 13.1 second rudder shift time. Concealment, 13 on the surface, 10.9 from the air, 11.8 when firing in smoke. Here's a look at the armor viewer. Got some wacky shapes and colors here. Citadel just above the waterline. As you can see, it has a heavy plate on the front and the rear. However, the breadbasket in between the 2 turrets is a large vulnerable space, which may be covered up by armor that you put above it. All right, we'll put this bow back on. You got a 19 millimeter bow, so if you're a mathematician, you know what that means. You do have a large torpedo belt, and underneath it you can see an armor belt at the belt line or at the water line, which should, in theory, do something to help you out in a battle. And we'll put this case-made armor back on. You can see some different colors there. It looks very pretty. The turrets and barbettes are, in my opinion, not especially armored, but the one thing I will say is that most U.S. battleship turrets do have a sloped face, and in theory that makes it harder to disable the turret when being shot directly head-on. That is the armor profile of the New York. Interpret that as you will. Here's our commander, level 16, legendary level 3, William Sims. Got this base trait that adds hit points for the ship tier. He's a great inspiration for a lot of other ships. We got Cunningham and Madden, and again, like I talked about, fight fire with fire. I would use that on a tier 6 ship like the Colorado, a tier 7 ship like the Iowa or the Kansas, or another tier 6 ship like the North Carolina, or any premiums. But anyway, that's the New York. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody.